Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiri Nashtaprayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhajtasvidhi Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Nashtik. So, continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized, text number 25 onwards. So, Krishna is further speaking to Arjuna on this topic of soul. Avyaktoyam achintoyam avikarayoyam uchyate tasmadevam viditvenam nanushochitum arhasi. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Immutable means you cannot change it. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. Body is always going to change. All the body is visible, conceivable, and changeable, but soul is not. As described previously, the magnitude of the soul is so small for our material calculation that it cannot be seen even by the most powerful microscope. Therefore, it is invisible, cannot be seen. And moreover, the soul is spiritual, cannot be seen by material microscopes anyway. As far as the soul's existence is concerned, no one can establish its existence experimentally beyond the proof of Shruti or Vedic wisdom. So since it cannot be seen existence, that's why scientists say there is no soul, because they cannot see it. As Prabhupada said, beyond the proof of Vedic wisdom, we cannot establish the existence of the soul. So soul just cannot be seen, but we have to experience it. We have to understand it through the scriptures. We have to accept this truth because there is no other source of understanding the existence of the soul, although it's a fact by perception. There are many things we have to accept solely on the grounds of superior authority. No one can deny the existence of his father based upon the authority of his mother. So that is authority. There is no source of understanding the identity of the father except by the authority of the mother. This is what, in one conversation, Prabhupada, the discussion was going on, and Prabhupada asked this person, how do you know who's your father? Because there's no way to know. One can say DNA testing, but that is also 99% sure. And then the person said, well, because I know that person is my father. How do you know? How can you know? Mother, yes, everybody knows this is my mother. I came out from her womb. But how do we know who's the father? And Prabhupada then explained, if mother says this person is your father, means he is your father. That's it. So similarly, there are so many things. If scriptures are our mother, Vedas are our mother, and mother says this is how it is, we just accept it. Similarly, there is no source of understanding the soul except by studying the Vedas. In other words, the soul is inconceivable by human experimental knowledge. The soul is consciousness and conscious. That also is a statement of the Vedas, and we have to accept that. Unlike the bodily changes, there is no change in the soul, as eternally unchangeable. And eternally, it's not like now it is unchangeable. Eternally, the soul remains atomic in comparison to the infinite Supreme Soul. The Supreme Soul is infinite, and the atomic soul is infinitesimal. So we are so small compared to the Supreme Soul or compared to Krishna. Therefore, the infinitesimal soul, being unchangeable, can never become equal to the infinite soul or the Supreme Personality of God. So we are unchangeable, immutable. Again and again, Krishna is saying this word. So means we are not going to become God all of a sudden. We are infinitesimal, will remain infinitesimal. That's all. All that is going to change from here to the spiritual world, whenever we go back, is our consciousness. A purification of consciousness will happen, and then only we can go back. Soul is always pure. You cannot do anything to the soul. It's just a consciousness that changes. This concept is repeated in the Vedas in different ways, just to confirm the stability of the conception of the soul. So why again and again Krishna also spoke, a repetition of something is necessary in order that we understand the matter thoroughly, without error. So that's why Krishna again and again spoke on this topic of soul to Arjun, so he understands everything and he doesn't make a mistake in his decision. And then now Krishna is changing the gears a little, going in a little different direction about the topic of the soul. Atha chanam nitya jatam nityam va manyase vritam tathapi tam mahabaho nanam shochitum arhasi. Because even at that time there were different philosophers. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of soul is always born and dies forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty aunt. So Prabhupada says, there is always a class of philosophers, almost akin to the Buddhists, who do not believe in the separate existence of the soul beyond the body. When Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, it appears that such philosophers existed, and they were known as the Lokaikas or Vaibhashikas. So different kinds of philosophy they follow. And all the philosophies are given in the Vedas. There's nothing outside the Vedas. But it's just how do we come to that conclusion? How do we understand it? That's up to us. Such philosophers maintain that life symptoms take place at a certain mature condition of material combination. So they don't say there's a soul, they say it just comes from material combination and at certain time in certain conditions. The modern material scientists and materialist philosophers also think similarly. So this is basically Darwin's theory. At certain time, because of certain changes in chemicals, single cell organism was produced, and then more changes, double cell, more and more and more, and then all of a sudden human beings came into existence. Not all of a sudden, gradual evolution, he says. But it's all based on what they think, no soul, it is a combination of chemicals. According to them, the body is a combination of physical elements, and at a certain stage, the life symptoms develop by interaction of the physical and chemical elements. The science of anthropology is based on this philosophy. Currently, many pseudo-religions, now becoming fashionable in America, are also adhering to this philosophy, as are the nihilistic, non-devotional Buddhist sects. And actually, Prabhupada used to call it, it's not philosophy, it's foolosophy. This is followed by fools. Why? Because there is a nice book which is called Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers. It's a conversation between Prabhupada and one of his scientist devotees. disciples. So that scientist, he was from India, but he was in America, and he met Prabhupada. And he has so many questions based on the science, whatever we study in the science. And Prabhupada just smashed all those questions with perfect answers from the scriptures. No, I'm sorry, it's not perfect question, but it's life comes from life. Perfect questions is a different book. So life comes from life. Life does not come from chemicals. Because Prabhupada asked him, since he was a big scientist, Prabhupada asked him, okay, what if we give you all the chemicals that you're saying, amino acids and whatever chemicals, they say combination of this makes soul. He said, okay, we'll give you all that chemicals. Can you produce life in your lab? He said, no. He said, then all your theory is false. You prepare the conditions in the lab, you get the chemicals, prepare life. Make even a small mosquito or amoeba. They said, no, we cannot do it. Now they say, oh, we can produce stem cell or this cell or that cell. But even for that stem cells, we have to take the culture from a living organism, whether human or whatever, not from dead matter or chemicals. But those philosophers were always there, even at that time of Krishna, or even before. They come up, as Prabhupada said, they were Lokaitikas or Vaibhashikas. So all these philosophies are there. And Krishna says, okay, even if you believe in their philosophy, which is not right, but even if you believe, but still there is no cause for lamentation. Why? Prabhupada says, even if Arjuna did not believe in the existence of the soul, as in the Vaibhashika philosophy, there would still have been no cause for lamentation. Why? No one laments the loss of a certain bulk of chemicals and stops discharging his prescribed duty. Even if you think, oh, this life is just a combination of chemicals, so what? Few gallons of chemicals are lost. Big deal. Do your duty. On the other hand, in modern science and scientific warfare, so many tons of chemicals are wasted for achieving victory over the enemy. According to the Vaibhashika philosophy, the so-called soul or Atma vanishes along with the deterioration of the body. So they say, this is what they believe in. There is no soul, it's just a combination of chemicals. And when we die, what we call death, it's just the chemicals are disintegrated or they just release back into the atmosphere. So means why stop doing your duty? Just bulk of chemicals. On the other hand, according to Vaibhashika philosophy, the so-called soul or Atma vanishes along with the deterioration of the body. So in any case, whether Arjuna accepted the Vedic conclusion that there is an atomic soul, or he did not believe in the existence of the soul, he had no reason to lament. According to this theory, since there are so many living entities generating out of matter every moment, and so many of them are being vanquished every moment, there is no need to grieve for such incidents. If there were no rebirth for the soul, Arjuna had no reason to be afraid of being affected by sinful reactions due to his killing his grandfather and teacher. But at the same time, Krishna sarcastically addressed Arjuna as Mahabahu, mighty armed, because he at least did not accept the theory of the Vaibhashikas, which leaves aside the Vedic wisdom. As a Kshatriya, Arjuna belonged to the Vedic culture and behooved him to continue to follow its principles. So Krishna is calling him Mahabahu, mighty armed. Mighty armed means also based on the scriptures, you have the knowledge, proper knowledge, and you act accordingly. So that's it. I mean, if we or the modern scientists believe that soul or body or life is a combination of chemicals only, but they do not, or they cannot explain the emotions. Emotions are not based on chemicals. Feelings, whether fear or love or hate or envy or jealousy or pride, how can be described based on combination of chemicals? Oh, somebody is in depression, you give him chemicals, Prozac, and that person will be okay. No, that just suppresses the symptoms. It doesn't get okay. So again, this chemical theory or there is no soul theory, it just doesn't hold water. It just doesn't make sense. But scientists follow this because why? We cannot see the soul. There's so many things we cannot see. It doesn't mean we don't believe in it. And Krishna, this is what Krishna says, even if you believe in that kind of philosophy, so do your duty. And also another thing that they say, there is no next life. Everything ends here. So if there is no next life, and this is also one of Munis in the past have said that his name was Charvak Rishi. And he said, actually, Osho got his philosophy from Charvak Rishi only. Beg, borrow, or steal, eat ghee. That Rishi said. Why? Why eat ghee? What's so special about ghee? Well, his point was that beg, borrow, or steal, whatever you do, there is no sinful reaction that you're going to carry over to the next life because everything ends here. And why eat ghee? Eat ghee means that makes your body very strong, very stout, and you enjoy your senses to the fullest. There is no next life. Everything finishes when this life finishes. So who cares what sinful activity you're doing? So once one disciple asked Prabhupada also that, oh, so Charvak Rishi said, beg, borrow, steal, eat ghee. So it's a valid philosophy. How can, no, he said, how can any Vedic Rishi say something like this? And Prabhupada said, because that was a Vedic Rishi, he said, eat ghee. If it was an American Rishi, he would have said, eat beef. But the main point is same. They want to just enjoy your senses. But this is not Vedic conclusion. Vedas or human life is not for enjoying senses. It's for tapasya, austerity, to achieve something higher. And then Krishna says, Jatasya dhruvam mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmada pariharyarthe natvam shochitum arhasi. Very, very important verse. That one who has taken his birth is sure to die. And after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. So one who has taken birth is sure to die. Everybody in this material world, not on earth only, in the whole material universe, everybody who has taken birth is going to die soon, whenever, whatever his life is written. And whoever has died is going to take birth again. Whoever means the soul, actually, body. Here it is said the combination of chemicals. So chemicals combine in a different way, one time, in a different way, another time. According to them, that is birth. But for the soul, He goes through this cycle, takes birth, grows old, disease, gets sick. Not the soul, but the body gets sick, dies. And soul keeps on going from one body to another. But therefore, in this unavoidable discharge of duty, unavoidable, you cannot avoid it. You cannot just run it. You cannot say, I'm not going to kill them. So Bhishma and Drona are not going to die. They're going to die. Do not lament. Do your duty. Don't lament. Prabhupada says, one has to take birth according to one's activities of life. And after finishing one term of activities, one has to die to take birth for the next. In this way, one is going through one cycle of birth and death after another without liberation. This cycle of birth and death does not, however, support unnecessary murder, slaughter, and war. But at the same time, violence and war are inevitable factors in human society for keeping law and order. The battle of Kurukshetra, being the will of the Supreme, was an inevitable event, and to fight for the right cause is the duty of a Kshatriya. Why should Arjun be afraid of or aggrieved at the death of his relatives, since he was discharging his proper duty? He did not deserve to break the law, therefore becoming subjected to the reactions of sinful acts, of which he was so afraid. So Prabhupada is saying he would not get the sinful acts reaction by killing Bhishma and Drona in the war. He would be committing sin if he does not take part in this war, because this is his duty. By avoiding the discharge of his proper duty, he would not be able to stop the death of his relatives, and he would be degraded due to his selection of the wrong path of action. So the sin will be if he doesn't do his duty, not just that if he kills, because he was afraid if he kills Dronacharya, Bhishma, and other relatives and other soldiers, he will incur sin. But no. That's why Krishna says unavoidable discharge of duty. You should not lament. Do your duty in the proper state of mind. Further on this same theme, Krishna is saying, Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktam madhyani bharata avakta nidana nyeva tatraka paridevana. All created beings are unmanifest in the beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So what need is there for lamentation? So all created beings are unmanifest in their beginning. Means created beings mean the bodies. So it was unmanifest in the beginning means before all the elements, material elements came together, earth, water, fire, air, ether, it was unmanifest. Then manifest in the interim state when we are in this body, and then unmanifest again. So like in our tradition, we cremate the body. So when we cremate the body, all the five elements go back to the five elements of the nature. So what is the need for lamentation? We just come together and again we'll come together. Again we'll perform our duties. Next body, next life. So why are you lamenting so much? Accepting that there are two classes of philosophers, one believing in the existence of the soul and the other not believing in the existence of the soul. There is no cause for lamentation in either case. Non-believers in the existence of the soul are called atheists by followers of Vedic wisdom. Yet even if, for argument's sake, we accept the atheistic theory, there is still no cause for lamentation. Apart from the separate existence of the soul, Material elements remain unmanifested before creation. From this subtle state of non-manifestation comes manifestation. Just as from ether, air is generated, from air, fire is generated, from fire, earth, water is generated, from water, earth becomes manifested. Actually, this is how the creation takes place. From the earth, many varieties of manifestations take place. Take, for example, a big skyscraper manifested from the earth. When it is dismantled, the manifestation becomes again unmanifested and remains as atoms in the ultimate stage. The law of conservation of energy remains, but in course of time, things are manifested and unmanifested. That's the difference. So if somebody thinks that, or like Arjun is thinking that, oh, I don't want to be the cause of unmanifestation of these bodies that I'm seeing, but they're going to unmanifest anyway. And they're going to get manifested again in different bodies, different forms, different shapes. Then what cause is there for lamentation, either in the stage of manifestation or in unmanifestation? Somehow or other, even in the unmanifested stage, things are not lost. Both at the beginning and at the end, all elements remain unmanifested. And only in the middle they are manifested, and this does not make any real material difference. So even if somebody believes in this, then the cycle goes on. Why not do your duty? And if we accept the Vedic conclusion as stated in the Bhagavad Gita that these material bodies are perishable in due course of time, antvantime deha, but that the soul is eternal, then we must remember always that the body is like a dress. Therefore, why lament the changing of a dress? Material body has no factual existence in relation to the eternal soul. It's something like a dream. In a dream, we may think of flying in the sky or sitting on a chariot as a king. But when we wake up, we can see that we are neither in the sky nor seated on the chariot. The Vedic wisdom encourages self-realization on the basis of the non-existence of the material body. Therefore, in either case, whether one believes in the existence of the soul or one does not believe in the existence of the soul, there is no cause for lamentation for loss of the body. And actually, this is our biggest fear. What will happen when I die? That's why we don't want to die. We don't want to die because this body where I am in, and this condition, house, in the family I'm in, I get so attached to it. I don't want to leave. Why I don't want to leave? One thing is attachment, and second thing is I don't know what I'm going to do. What will happen to me after death? I don't know. So Bhagavad Gita gives us this teaching that yes, there is next body. We are going to take up next body and next body and next body and next body. Where that depends upon our activities. What we do in this lifetime, what kind of consciousness we generate or develop this lifetime, and what kind of desires we have. So based on that, we'll get a next body. And like previous millions and millions and millions of bodies we have had so far. We don't remember them all, but this is why the scriptures come in. That yes, from scriptures, from basic knowledge, we understand we have had so many bodies, so many lives, all over the universe. Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavana Jeev. Brahman, in all over the universe, we have had so many bodies since the beginning of creation. And this is the beginning of this creation. Previous, how many creations we have been through? Who knows? Only Krishna knows. But we get so attached to the body we are in, so attached, so much so that we think we are this body. And there is so much of lamentation and crying and every single effort to protect this body. Yes, that should be there, but the effort to protect this body is not should not be based on any greed or anything else. Should be based on, yes, Krishna has given me this body, so I can serve him with this body. For that reason, one should try to protect to whatever extent possible in an honest way. That's about it. Otherwise, body, we're going to leave this body sooner or later. This body is going to get diseased. This body is getting old. We all are getting old. It's going to get diseased. One disease or two or multiple diseases will be there. And at a certain day, we're going to leave this body. We're going to die. So, again, that's a wrong wording. We are going to die. We mean soul does not die and body is going to go away anyway. Without soul, body is dead anyway. There's nothing living in this body. But we are so attached because we think we are this body. And everything related to this body is, that's it, that's my life. So Bhagavad Gita teaches us to get away from this concept, wrong concept of life, that we are this body. We are spirit souls. And keep on moving. And now it's up to us. Where do we want to go? Up, remain at this place, or go down? It's up to us. That's why this knowledge should be given in the schools and colleges. And it's been missing from our education system. It's a big loss in our lives. We didn't study it when we were little. And even all these motivational speakers, if you listen to, or people pay so much money to go and listen to these motivational speakers, and the big business or political leaders who are successful in their lives, sports leaders. People pay so much money to listen to Bill Clinton. And now I'm hearing Barack Obama is also doing talks and they charge so much of money. But nobody teaches, even in those big speeches or seminars. They pump you up, they motivate you to do good, do best, but not everybody is going to be successful. They don't teach that. Then what do? You're going to get into depression. Then what do? Nobody teaches that. But not everybody is going to become like Bill Clinton or Barack Obama or Elon Musk or Bill Gates. Not everybody is going to become like that. They did good, great. They're leaders, very, very successful people. Based on what? Not just based on their own efforts in this lifetime. They had done plenty of pious activities in previous lifetimes, many previous lifetimes, plenty of them. So they came to this stage of today's or this lifetime They achieved so much. Great achievement. I'm not against that. But they have done that and they got the mercy of the Lord to enjoy the results of those pious activities in this lifetime. That's all. We can perform pious activities and we can achieve the results maybe in this lifetime or maybe next or maybe further on. Who knows? But this is all temporary. Once the results of pious activities are enjoyed, you're back. And the problem is once somebody is very successful, then he commits both pious and sinful activities. He has to get the reaction later on. And moreover, not everybody is going to achieve the same success because not everybody has a bank balance of those pious activities. And then what do we do? That's where the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita comes into picture. So if somebody studies Bhagavad Gita properly, he'll not get frustrated, not get depressed when the failure comes. And he will not get so elated, so overjoyed that he loses his mind when he becomes successful. That's why the scriptures are important. Next verse, 29th. It's called an amazing verse, or it's called the amazing verse of Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because this word amazing, ashcharya, it comes so many times in this verse. Ashcharyavat pashyati kashyadenam, ashcharyavat vadati tathaiva chanya, ashcharyavat chena manya shrunoti, shrutva apyena vedana cha kashyat. Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. This soul, concept of soul and the soul itself is so amazing. So let's see what Prabhupada says. Since Gita Upanishad is fully based on the principles of the Upanishads, it's not surprising to find this parallel passage in Kat Upanishad. The fact that this atomic soul is within the body of a gigantic animal, in the body of a gigantic banyan tree, and also in the microbic germs, millions and billions of which occupy only an inch of space, is certainly very amazing. So the same soul is there, whether in gigantic banyan tree or gigantic animal, like animals, shark, somebody will, oh, it's a mammal, well, whatever classification we put him in. Shark is there, whale is there, blue whale is there, and in scripture, in Vedic scripture, we talk of Timingala fish, Timi fish. So those fishes are so huge, they can swallow the whole whale in one gulp. That's it. But the size of the soul is still the same. Whatever the body is, doesn't matter. Men with a poor fund of knowledge and men who are not austere cannot understand the wonders of the individual atomic spark of spirit, even though it is explained by the greatest authority of knowledge, who imparts lessons even to Brahma, the first living being in the universe. So those who are not austere, or those who don't have that kind of credibility or the qualification, without austerity, we cannot understand this, the Vedic knowledge. Owing to a gross material conception of things, most men in this age cannot imagine how such a small particle can become both so great and so small. So men look at the soul proper as wonderful, either by constitution or by description. Illusioned by the material energy, people are so engrossed in subject matters or sense gratification that they have very little time to understand the questioning of self-understanding. Even though it's a fact that without the self-understanding, all activities result in ultimate defeat in the struggle for existence. Perhaps they have no idea that one must think of the soul and thus make a solution to the material miseries. So nobody has time to make solution for the material miseries, birth, old age, disease, and death. So we think by taking some supplements, we can remain healthy. That's not going to happen. By taking some supplements, we can remain young forever. We don't get old. Not going to happen. We try to hide our age by dyeing our hair or by putting on plenty of makeup or something. But we are getting old. It's simple as that. And nobody can stop that. That's a law of nature. By doing the yoga practice, also one tries to remain fit. Well, this is good. Keeping the body healthy is good. But first thing, for what purpose? And then, even though by yoga, we don't stop getting old. It's a law. Some people who are inclined to hear about the soul may be attending lectures in good association, but sometimes owing to ignorance, they are misguided by acceptance of the super soul and the atomic soul as one without distinction of magnitude. It's very difficult to find a man who perfectly understands the position of the super soul, the atomic soul, the respective functions, and relationships, and all other major and minor details. And it's still more difficult to find a man who has actually derived full benefit from knowledge of the soul and who's able to describe the position of the soul in different aspects. But if somehow or other one is able to understand the subject matter of the soul, then one's life is successful. Otherwise, it's not. If all throughout our life, all we did is take care of this body, or bodily needs, or bodily relationships, that's all we did, then, and we didn't even try to learn about the soul, then actually that is an animalistic life. Animals also do the same activities that human beings do: eating, meeting, sleeping, or defending. So we do the same: eating, mating, sleeping, defending. Animals do the same. Then what's the difference? Human life, human consciousness, better intelligence has been awarded to the soul in this body of human being, as you can see right now. So the soul is little more evolved than the animals. So why do just the activities of the animals? We can say, oh, I don't live like animals. I have such a nice house. I can sit on my nice dining table, eat in silver. But the activity is the same. It might be polished than animals. More polished, more sophisticated. That's about it. But the activity is the same. In fact, animals, we say, oh, we also eat. Animals eat, but we eat in a better way. But animals don't have to do any yoga to digest that food or take any medicines to digest that food. We have to do that sometimes. We sleep keeping nice mattress and air conditioners are there to keep the temperature proper throughout the night. Animals can sleep outside without anything, without any bed or covering or AC or anything, and they sleep nicely. They have no problems. They don't take pills to go to sleep. And then mating, we also mate or have sex, and animals also have sex. But we are intelligent, we are more intelligent, higher consciousness. Vedas tell us what is the higher consciousness for? To raise our children in Krishna conscious way, to make them devotees of God, to put them on the path of liberation. If we are not doing that, well, we are just like animals. Animals also have children, we also have children. But because we have better intelligence, so we do use contraception, so we do kill the babies in the womb, abortion. Animals don't do that. And defending. So we defend ourselves. We put nice alarms on our houses, locks, and then insurance, and then guns, and whatever we have to defend ourselves or our possessions. Animals also defend themselves. They have claws and they have teeth. That's it. That's good enough. So the activity is the same activity. So we are like living like animals if we are not making progress spiritually. We're not understanding the goal of life. We're not understanding, I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. Then we are just like animals, sophisticated animals maybe, two-legged animals, but animals nonetheless. And if we look around, everybody is living like that only. Animals. Everybody, whether it is best of the businessmen, political leaders, sports leaders, movie theater actors, or a common man on the street, a beggar. Everybody is just doing these four activities and wasting the human form of life. And this is why this soul is so amazing. And this amazing adjective, it can go with three things. Either the soul is amazing, or the topic about the soul is amazing, or the description is amazing, or one who is looking at it, one who is hearing is also amazing. That's how Acharya is explained. So this is called amazing verse. And and that's what it says. Even after hearing about that, cannot understand him at all, because the qualification is not there to understand, to realize that we are not this body, we are spirit souls. It has to be ingrained in our consciousness, talking about it every day, hearing about, thinking about it. Yes, I'm not seeing. It's a soul that is seeing through the eyes. So means I'm not this body. So why I have to spend so much of time thinking and just caring for this body and no time at all for the soul? So we start thinking that way, start looking at our existence that way. Then we are starting to see actually. Okay, so I guess I can stop here. See anybody have any questions or comments?
Prabhuji, you said we have to bring our children up in Krishna consciousness. In a country like America, even when we were in India, we were not taught Krishna consciousness or the Vedas, or we were just told to study, go to med school or be an engineer. And we land up here, it's more difficult to bring up your children in Krishna conscious? How do you do it when they are adults?
Well, first thing is, first we have to become Krishna conscious, or at least spiritual people. As Prabhupada always said, that they learn, children learn by our example more than by our teachings. And then secondly, okay, we are also struggling to become devotees. I know we all are struggling. So somehow we start some practices, some things, at least give them prasadam. If we are not fully convinced of the philosophy, fully explain the philosophy, we at least give them the prasadam. Give them the book.
Yeah, that I'm trying to do. But still, one of my kids is way, way beyond, and he has the most problems. So it is a very difficult task, especially.
Yes, it's not easy. It's not easy. I know that.
That is true.
Yeah.
At least these people here in America, they do take their children to church every Sunday. हम लोग जब आए थे तो कोई मंदिर भी नहीं पास में. Landed in Connecticut, and basically there was no temple there. तो फिर जो है बच्चों को हिंदुइज्म में बड़ा करना was a task, you know. So at least ये लोग चर्च तो लेके जाते हैं ना हर संडे अपने बच्चों को. हम तो वो भी नहीं कर सके.
Yeah, that is good. That is good. But even how many Hindu families even today do take them to temple or teach them something about
nothing. Hinduism is dying in America, at least, you know.
Yeah, and all these Hindu families, they don't.
So हम लोग तो बिल्कुल ही यहाँ पे आके तो बिल्कुल ही वो हो गए, पिछड़ गए religious wise, you know, religion wise.
But at the same time, even in India, I mean, how many, okay, they go to temple, there's so many temples all over. How many try to learn? What exactly does it mean?
Quality of
and
teaching, the gurus is
younger,
also.
Yeah, the younger generation, then they say this is all just
they are
rituals.
trying to ape the West, basically. And the West has so many problems here. So many problems.
Yep.
I don't know where this, but
so
every day if you do a little.
So youngsters, they feel it's all superstition, whatever you're doing, because we ourselves don't have knowledge. So how are we going to transfer the knowledge?
That
and
is true.
They will only believe when there is knowledge and when we practice. Because these days, youngsters, they have access to information all over internet. Every kind
information overload hai yahan pe, and all garbage.
All garbage. So proper knowledge has to be given. Has to be given. In fact, that is the reason the Jagannath temple, when I got connected, and they asked me to start the Bhagavad Gita class, because they said there is nobody is teaching Bhagavad Gita.
No, nobody is teaching. Yeah.
Somehow there's only one or two persons come from that temple when we started the class.
No, this is really, really helping me here. But my bigger task is how to get kids involved. That is my biggest task, which I'm not able to get them involved here. वो समझते हैं कि okay, Bhagavad Gita, mom बूढ़ी हैं, उनके लिए ठीक है because she has nothing to do. But not realizing that it will help them in the real world. And the task is how to get them involved. My daughter, she is going to Reston, Virginia in June. So she asked me, Mom, you want to go to New Vrindavan? I said, yes. Okay, then we are going. So I said, chalo, is bahane, मैं जून में वर्जीनिया आऊंगी to go to New Vrindavan. Maybe that way I can get them involved.
Sure, yeah, why not?
You know, so but it's a formidable task to get children involved in your own religion.
Yeah, it is tough.
So, सिर्फ सत्यनारायण की कथा पे बैठते हैं क्योंकि वो बहुत सालों से होता आ रहा है, ऑलमोस्ट 35-40 years. वो करते हैं, उसके अलावा नहीं. So let's see how successful we are.
Takes time. Chalo, I guess we can
Thank
stop
you.
here.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You all have a safe and
Charan
wonderful
Sparsh, Prabhuji.
Jai Shri Ram.